The Wellington Phoenix have once again been beaten by their newest rivals, Auckland FC, in their A-League fixture over the weekend. This was quite a tense, dramatic game in the capital over the weekend, but for the Phoenix, they'll have to wait yet another month before they can finally claim a win over Auckland FC. But I'm Nick from Nickn'detail, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Wellington Phoenix Auckland FC game, which took place in Wellington over the weekend. So let's get into it. That's right, once again, and a lot of excitement out of everyone because it was the New Zealand derby, the first of the 2025-26 A-League men's season. And the big question around whether the Wellington Phoenix could finally record a win or at least a result out of their newest rivals was also very much hanging over this match. But once again, it will be Auckland FC that will continue to reign superior in New Zealand football, beating the Phoenix once again 2-1 in a dramatic, tense game in Wellington, very much as we saw for this fixture in the first game last season. So let's get my thoughts on this game. This has got to be the best New Zealand derby we have had to date. Just so tense. You didn't know which way it was going to go and just full of drama. Very much what we all hope a drama game, or sorry, a rival game is going to be. Like I've seen it in other rivalry games in the league, like very much like the Melbourne derby, for example, just always filled of hot temper. But this game very much live up to that expectation, because it's safe to say so far across their three meetings prior to this one over the weekend, there hasn't really been too much drama, maybe apart from the odd, stir up between the both coaches before the games, but very much from the players, it hasn't really been a big, atmospheric, sort of atmosphere in terms of just what's being said. But very much this game very much lived up to that expectation. We saw a lot happen in this, very much over 100 minutes of football played at Sky Stadium, and very much Auckland FC getting the job done. Like I said, didn't actually know which way this game was going to go. Auckland FC very much exposing the Wellington Phoenix's high line, something that's been talked about over the start of this A-League season. The Wellington Phoenix backline playing quite a high line there, and very much, safe to say, got exposed over the weekend against Auckland FC. Very much Auckland FC scoring in the first 30 seconds. But it was actually a bit of a back and forth game. The Phoenix able to get a goal back for a lovely strike from their new Nigerian recruit, Ifeanyi Eze, very much showing why he's good, why he's been dubbed a very good recruit by the Phoenix, and also very much everyone around that club. And then we saw Auckland FC come back. It was very much that sort of game. It was once we got the red cards in that this game very much changed. And I know there's a lot of controversy around, particularly the first one around Dan Hall being sent off, considering there's a bit of speculation Corbin Piper actually handballed it before they making that run towards the Auckland FC goal there. And actually watching the replays, it does actually look like Piper does get a hand on it, but I think being his hand is tucked in, I think very much a ball to hand situation. The game very much should be played on. Therefore, the red card, I believe, was a red card. Then, of course, Logan Rogerson, 20 minutes later, on a high studs tackle on Lucas Cullihill there. No doubt, red card. Obviously, dangerous conduct. And, once again, Auckland FC with 9 men. Fair play to them, part the bus, got the job done, and the Phoenix just looked absolutely lost. They tried everything, bombing the ball in from the box, just trying shots from absolutely everywhere on the park. But, once again, you've got to give a massive credit to this Auckland FC backline, who stood strong for the last 20 minutes with 9 men. It's safe to say the Phoenix should have actually won the game. Auckland FC giving them a massive opportunity to get 3 points over them for the first time, but Auckland FC stood strong and held on to claim these 3 points. So a very good result for Auckland FC. For the Wellington Phoenix, once again, a bit of a head scratcher there, high backline and very much exposed, and a lot of questions coming into when they next meet, of course, next month, but also the Phoenix's next couple of games as well, whether they can bounce back and whether that high line can improve after what's been a sort of okayish start for them for this A-League men season. So who was my stand-up player for this game? Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Jesse Randall. I swear this guy every game just takes it up another level. I was really saying a few videos ago how strong he has of a start to the A-League men season, and he's very much been showing that. And over the weekend, very much just did that. Of course, got the assist in the first 30 seconds to New Englishman striker Sam Cosgrove. Once again, we very much pressed on that high line. We was able to get behind them and make that absolute great run to tap it to Cosgrove, who then tapped it in to the back of the net. And of course, Jesse Randall scoring a lovely goal of himself as well, chipping Josh Oluwayemi there, who was also playing quite high, of course, because of his back line, and was able to get Auckland FC the lead back after, of course, conceding the equaliser only a few minutes after their opening goal. And for Jesse Randall, just another great performance indeed from him, just looking so much so much more confident than he was last season, just looking like very much an all different player than what he was this time last season, and very much last season in general. And of course, actually being rewarded too. He's actually been called into the All White squad for their November internationals coming up this week. Of course, Callum McCower unavailable, and Jesse Randall confirmed as his replacement to go to the United States this week. So a nice little reward for Jesse Randall there, who's been playing very well for Auckland FC this season, and very much expecting him to get better as the season goes on. So Jesse Randall, my stand-up player, a great performance from the 23-year-old winger for Auckland FC. So what's next for both teams? Well, of course, no A-League football this week because of the international break. So, of course, a week off. And then next week, the league returns, where the Wellington Phoenix will once again be staying in Wellington. They'll host the Macarthur Bulls, who sit below them on the table. Both these teams have very similar defensive records to start the season, but the Wellington Phoenix with a better attacking going forward. And, of course, I do expect the Phoenix to get the job done here. Of course, Macarthur coming off their win over Adelaide last weekend. And, but, of course, famously bet the Phoenix last year in Wellington in their, fixture in the capital, but I expect the Phoenix to very much get the job done there next Saturday afternoon, or evening, I should say, 5 p.m. game, that is, in Wellington. But for Auckland FC, of course, they'll be heading back home to Auckland next Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and they will be hosting the Brisbane Roar, a very different Brisbane Roar team who have looked very good under their new coaching staff, and a few changes in that squad as well. And recently over the weekend just beat Newcastle 3-0, and both these teams actually have very similar, in fact, have the exact same record in terms of goals for and goals against this season. 5 goals for, 2 against to start their A-League men's season, and the Roar in 4th as well. And what's been a great start for the Brisbane team, but Auckland FC once again at home, expecting them to get the job done. Of course, they beat Brisbane in their Auckland fixture last year 2-0 to kickstart their first A-League campaign, and once again expect Auckland FC to very much do that next Sunday afternoon in Auckland. Let's get it for me. What a great derby this was to watch. I guess for the Wellington Phoenix, apart from that high backline, this actually wasn't a terrible performance like we saw those 3 games where they played Auckland FC last year, where they very much looked like the second best side. This is a promising sign for the Phoenix going forward, that they can very much challenge Auckland FC, and of course they get a big opportunity next month in Auckland to try claim some bragging rights back and finally get their first win and first result over their newest rivals. But Auckland FC very much showing why they're the majority dominant team in this league, and very much in Auckland and in New Zealand so far, and very much expected to continue over the rest of the A-League men's season. But for me, that's going to be it. Until next time, I'll see you later.